guys, what's up? Welcome to my channel. My name is Claire, and if this is your first time here, welcome. I actually did something the other day. I went on my YouTube analytics and I noticed that like 76% of the people that watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you're into like lifestyle, college type of videos, makeup, hauls, all that kind of good stuff, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It really does help me out so much more than you think. But today's video is going to be something really exciting, something that I've been wanting to do for quite a while. I mentioned a while back that I wanted to start this little series for students or non-students that are getting ready to go to college or just have an interest in learning more about college life. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you 10 things that you need to either do or try to do while you're in college, and I hope this video is somewhat helpful and kind of just opens your eyes a little bit more to things that you should be doing in college. And it's not always about the classroom, you know, it's not always about partying. There's a healthy balance of absolutely everything that there is to do in college. So if that makes sense, I'm going to be sharing either things that I did do in college that made my college experience better, or things that I regret not doing in college. So that's what you're going to get in today's video, and I could do so many of these videos. So if you want to see more, please comment down below, let me know, give it a thumbs up. But today I'm just going to be sharing 10. I'm going to try to keep it like quick and simple and easy because I could elaborate for hours on each of these, but we're gonna like knock it down to 10, and that's what we're gonna be doing. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on with number 1. Okay, so over the past week, I kind of jotted down ideas in a random order just as I thought of them. So this isn't really in a particular order, but the very first thing we're going to talk about, I would consider to be very high up there on the list of things that you need to do, and it's something that I really regret not doing, and that is making a secret resume. And you're probably wondering, what is that? Well, I'm going to tell you. So starting your freshman year, I would advise making just a Word document, or you can even go on the Notes app on your phone and jot down and save every single thing that you volunteer at, everything that you join, whether it's like an organization or a club, intramural team, whatever, and break it out like by category. That way when you are applying for internships like after your sophomore year, or when you're really applying for a job after your senior year, you can look back and incorporate the organizations, the volunteer events, all of that good stuff that will actually impact you in getting a job. So you are going to be a part of things that may not really make you stand out when you're applying for a job. Like intramural basketball was something I did, but I didn't include on my final resume. But I did include things like that when I was applying to be like a pink canvas rep and for internships and things, because it made me look like I was more involved. So those kinds of things, you don't realize it at the time, but they really do make you stand out when you are applying for maybe a leadership position at your college or things like that when you move on up like to sophomore, junior, senior. So make sure starting your freshman year, if you haven't already, just go do it now. Jot down every single thing that you volunteer at and just become a part of, because those really do come in handy. And by the time you're a senior, during your final semester, when you're really applying for jobs, you will have forgotten a lot of the things that you volunteered at and joined. Even if it was just for a semester, I did so many things my freshman year and sophomore year just for a semester to try them out, and I was just remembering some of them the other day. So make sure to jot that down, because those little things you will forget and you will wish that you had them written down somewhere. Okay, so the next one is a really fun one, and this is something that I did do, and that is to go on a trip with friends that you make in college. Now, I highly advise you, I've talked about it before, to really try to get involved in college, and we'll talk about that more in a minute, but you will make friends, whether it's your roommates or people that you knew from high school that happen to go to the same college as you, or just random people from your classes. Go on some kind of trip, and that doesn't mean you have to go on like this lavish vacation to Europe, which I wish we could do that, everyone could, but try going on like a day trip, a weekend trip, you know, just a girls' day. I highly advise it. I went to Auburn University, and I was about an hour away from Atlanta. I had several of my friends where we would go to Atlanta for the day, Birmingham. I always wanted to go to Nashville and like New Orleans, which I live kind of close to that now. Go to a beach day if you're near the beach. If you're near Disney World, go something like that. Go to an amusement park, do something, even if it's just like a one-night getaway. Things like that, I look back, and those are some of the best weekends and best days of my life in college. Just kind of getting out of the college atmosphere. It doesn't cost a lot of money to just go on a day trip, or just treat yourself to like a nice meal with your friends, explore your town even deeper. Things like that will really get you out of a rut that you might be in, and just make you appreciate the new people that come into your life while you're in college. That may seem a little bit of a random one, but I really do advise that. because those were some of the best weekends of my life. This next one is also really important. It may not sound important at the time when I'm saying it, but this is one of the things that I'm so happy that I did do, and that was take a class for fun. And I was a double major, so I was trying to graduate in 4 years with 2 degrees, so I was super loaded up on classes. But my sophomore year, second semester, I took the most fun class I've ever taken in my life, and that was basketball. It was so much fun. I was literally the only girl in the class, but 3 days a week, I believe it was, we had a basketball class, me and like 30 guys, and we would go into this old gym at Auburn. We had a coach, and we would do like pickup games and learn drills and all kinds of fun stuff. And I loved that class more than I loved any of my classes at Auburn, just because it was a good stress reliever, it was good exercise, and it just kind of got me out of my comfort zone. And hey Daisy. And yes, I could have taken either a business or a political science class in that place, and it would have put me ahead to where my last semester of college I wouldn't have been so packed. But I'm so glad that I did that, and it was just amazing. But a lot of colleges and universities have classes like that. I also encourage you to take a class that you're super interested in that may not have anything to do with your major. So if you're into like photography or graphic design or music, something like that, like your passion, I definitely advise taking a passion class. Okay guys, so please excuse Daisy, she is demanding to be pet right now. Next thing that I would advise you doing is to go to on-campus events or off-campus events that are held by your university. So that kind of goes, like, I didn't even really need to say that because I feel like you should know that, but that doesn't always mean athletic events. I advise you to try to go to at least one of every athletic event on your campus. Like, even if you're not a sports fan, you will be surprised about how fun they are, especially if you're at Auburn. They're all so fun. Other times you will have organizations on your campus or that are a part of your school that will host on-campus events. So that might be really big concerts. I know Auburn had crazy concerts all the time. I've talked about this before. I think I kind of took advantage of this when I was in school because I didn't go to every single on-campus event. A lot of the time they will have guest speakers come and talk about subjects that you might be passionate about. So definitely try to get involved and find out what is going on when. Auburn UPC is what kind of runs the main events held on Auburn's campus, but there's also a website called AU Involve where you can get involved with different organizations. I'll talk about that more in a minute, but wherever you're going to school, try and find out where's the best place to find out about events being held on campus. So that's something that you will regret later on. I know like Auburn had like that I went to 2 Chainz, I went to Ray Shrimherd, David Dobrik went this past semester, which I was so jealous. They've had like Brad Paisley before. They've had like all kinds of really cool people just come and do free events like that, and you'll never get opportunities like that again, I can promise you. The next one is something that I really do advise you to do. This is something that will break that bubble that you may have grown up in or may have always just surrounded yourself in of being really shy, but that is to run or interview for something. I don't care what it is, interview for something, and even if you don't think you'll get it, you'll be surprised at what you might actually stand a chance at getting. So I've talked about this before on handling rejection. This was actually one of my first videos that I posted almost 2 years ago, talking about every single club and organization that I was rejected from at Auburn. I went to Auburn planning to be an athletic recruiter. I tried out twice for that position, and I got my heart shattered both times because I didn't get it. And then by the 3rd year I was like, you know what, no, I'm not trying out for that again. And I ended up becoming a pink campus rep, and I never would have thought that I would have gotten that chance, and that is what actually again led me to my job today. I've talked about that before. But so I would have never thought that I would have become a pink campus rep because I didn't have experience in fashion and merchandising and marketing, but I was really passionate about the brand, and those were always things that I had a passion in but I didn't have experience in. So sometimes that passion will outweigh experience, and people that are interviewing you can see that. There are so many different things to get involved in. Like I said, AU Involve, I will link the website down below for all the people going to Auburn, but wherever you're going to school, most of them will have a website where you can get involved. I know Auburn has over 500 clubs and organizations. There are so many different ways you can get involved that don't involve Greek life, but you can also get involved with Greek life. So when I say to run for something, that doesn't have to be SGA or something within the college that you're at. It can be literally anything. Just interview for something. That really gives you interview practice for later on when you're interviews and jobs. Sorry, I'm petting my dog, which is why I'm like moving all over the place. sunrise and the sun is setting at the same time. But yeah, definitely try to go out of your comfort zone, get those practice interviews in. The next thing that I advise you to do is to pull an all-nighter. I know when you think about college, a lot of people think about all-nighters, and this doesn't always have to be for classes or finals weeks. This can just be a random Tuesday night, and let me just tell you some of my stories. So one of the best nights of my life was actually during finals week. I think it was my sophomore year. I worked at the Auburn Arena, which is where basketball, gymnastics, volleyball, all that is. And my friend and I, we actually pulled an all-nighter in the Auburn Arena. I didn't have permission to do this, but I was working that day, and it's so quiet in the gym when it's like May and like nobody's practicing during finals week, so it was super silent. And we went up to the 4th floor in the Auburn Arena, and we were studying after work, and just because it was quiet, the library was packed, and the parking lot, it was really hard to get in. So we decided to just stay in the arena all night, and it was so much fun. And I think we got Starbucks, and we stayed in the Auburn Arena all night, didn't sleep. We studied, kind of studied. Another all-nighter I had was my freshman year. My roommates and I just stayed up talking, literally on like a random Tuesday, just about life in general. I had class the next morning, I think at 8 a.m. and just little things like that you can't get back. So a lot of the time you're like, you need to go to bed by a certain time when you're in college because you have classes the next day, be responsible, blah, blah, blah. But those nights you can't get back. With that being said, you're never gonna remember the days that you got a full 8 hours of sleep. You're gonna remember the days that you didn't. Those are always gonna be more memorable, whether that be good or bad. But the next thing that we're going to talk about today is a little bit different, and that is to make an effort to go to something routinely. And this can be either church, small groups, college worship nights, trivia nights, bingo nights, karaoke nights, workout classes, therapy, a book club, or any kind of club that your organization holds. Literally anything. Just try to make an effort to go to something routinely. Like, no, every Tuesday at 5 o'clock I'm gonna go do this, every Thursday at 7 o'clock I'm gonna go do this. That kind of routine will keep you out of that college depression slump, knowing that you have something to look forward to. So just being around different people is really, really healthy, especially getting involved with church or small groups or college worship nights. Auburn Church of the Highlands is really big. Thursday nights, I think it's at 7 now. It used to be at 8. It's called One. You can go to One Auburn to look it up. But it's a huge college worship night, and just thousands of college students that are like you, that love Jesus. They all get together in one place, and things like that just keep you just alive. You know what I'm saying? They keep you happy and just give you something to look forward to. And like I said, like even karaoke nights and bingo nights, things like that can be really, really fun. And therapy too. Therapy's always a good one. Okay, number 8 is gonna be a quick one because I've talked about this before, but this is to make a connection with at least one professor or faculty member and go to their office hours regularly and find an adult that you can trust. So that's all one big one, and that might sound like a little bit random, but that's something that I wish I would have done. Honestly, one of my bosses that I worked for, he was kind of like the adult that I trusted. We actually talked a lot at work, and so just having an adult that you can talk to is really important. And it doesn't always have to be like about grades or anything, but I really do advise you going to office hours for your professors, because when it comes down to like them bumping up your grade or something, they're not going to bump up the grade of the kid that they barely saw throughout their class, or even if it's like a big class and you happen to come to every class. Sometimes making that connection will make you stand out. I literally had a professor tell my class one time, if you don't come to my office hours, don't expect me to help you out when it comes time to give final grades. Okay, she's just got to calm down. She's like hitting me, begging me to pet her. Honestly, those connections with those professors will come a long way. Sometimes you might need them to write recommendation letters for you later on. You never know what you're going to need them for in the future, and sometimes it may come down to the end of the semester and you have an 89 and you're wanting to get rounded up, or you might be like me in accounting and have a and you need to get rounded up to a passing grade. So that definitely helped me out, going to those office hours. If I would have not gone to the office hours of my professor during my last accounting class, I would have failed that class. So yeah, it can help you out. Next one is also pretty obvious because I've talked about how this was one of my biggest regrets in college before, but this is to put an effort into talking to someone in your classes. Even if you're scared or feeling awkward, try to make them your friend. They might be your bridesmaid one day, or they might have the old test. You never know. So always try to make an effort to actually talk to people in your classes because they can help you with homework. And I've always talked about how I didn't have friends in my classes, and I really didn't. I did like have acquaintances sometimes that we would help each other with homework or study guides and things like that. But as far as like hanging out outside of class, I never really had that, and I regret that so bad. I know people that have made friends or like boyfriends and whatever in classes, and so you never know who you're gonna meet. But also I've sat by a girl who happened to have like all the old study guides, and that was really helpful. So just try to be outgoing and actually talk to people in your classes, or you will be like me and regret it. This one is also super important, and that is to spend time actually figuring out what you are both passionate about and good at, and that you can make money at. So there's a quote that is like that, where it's like, I think it might be by Sarah Blakely from Spanx. She's one of the biggest girl bosses and like my biggest not role models, but kind of a role model actually. Yeah. So she's, I think it was her, it might not be her, it was somebody that said, I found out what I was passionate about and what I was good at, and that I also can make money on. And that's something that you really need to spend your college years figuring out. And it's not always about money. By that I just mean that you can turn it into a career, because you can turn literally anything into a career these days, which I think is really cool about the way the world has evolved. But pick a major that can really point you in the direction of the thing that you're most passionate about, rather than something that you think can make money. And try to get real life experience, because that's super important. So like for me, I was majored in political science and finance. That's what my degrees are in. And I work for digital commerce. So I work in retail for Victoria's Secret Pink now. And I work with like digital marketing and digital merchandising. And I have no education in that. But the experience that I had with Pink and working as a Pink campus rep through college, that gave me experience. So even if you are too late into your major, too far in, and it's too late for you to change that major, try to get experience in whatever it is that you're interested in, and try to make that stand out to where you have the right to put it on your resume. I feel like things like that are way more helpful than a class that you might have taken. So I did put down relevant classes on my resume, which I really didn't have a lot of relevant classes to the job that I got today. And I'm so thankful that Victoria's Secret Pink, like when I was a campus rep, I'm thankful that they took a chance on me, even though when I became a rep, I had really no experience besides being on the team. But yeah, so that's just something that I feel like I have talked about so much on my channel, is finding what you're passionate about. Because I'm definitely, like, I'm super interested in political science. I feel like if you were to talk to me, you would never guess that. I'm super into like history and politics and presidents and American history, and international relations is actually my concentration, and I love learning about like the United Nations and things like that. But it's not my passion. And then finance, I'm super into like real estate and business and marketing, and everything pretty much in the business world has to do with finance, no matter what it is. So those are all things that I'm interested in, but I'm not passionate about. I'm passionate about content and creation and marketing and fashion and merchandising, and that's like the world that I've always loved. And I got really lucky. So yeah, definitely try to get experience and find what you're passionate about, and don't care about what the typical salary is of that major. You know what I'm saying? So I hope these tips helped you out. If you want to see more videos like this, please let me know. I can make a bajillion of these, but please let me know what you want to see next on my channel. I've been in kind of like a creative rut lately because I don't really know what to make. So I will see y'all in my next video. No telling what that will be, but thank you for watching this video, and I hope you have a great day and stay blessed wherever you are. Bye.